Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host, Yeukai Ketchadori.
Hey, welcome back. It's Yeukai. Look, I am so excited about today as I am bringing you somebody that I firmly believe has got a message that could truly change your life. So what are we talking about? It is that subject which you always have a question about. I know I have. And it is, how do you close the gap where you are and where you want to be? Have you ever thought, I want to achieve this goal? And often find yourself asking yourself this question: how do I get there? What can I do to close this gap? I know there are certain areas in my life that are not exactly, what I want them to be. And today's session is going to help me. It's going to help you, Bill. It's going to help everybody else. So take your notebook. If you are like me, you want to find your discovery, because my guest here today is going to bring it home. You're going to love what you have. In fact, my guest is Rachel Benton. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us in this episode today.
Thank you, Yeukai. I'm so excited to be here with you.
You know what? When I was reading your profile earlier on, when I received it from my assistant, I thought, oh my gosh, we are led because, I had a conversation not too long ago and somebody was asking exactly the same topic. And then your profile arrived on my desk. And I thought, you know what? It's funny because when we start thinking about it, people with solution appears. In fact, it's one of those old adages that says when a student is ready, a teacher will appear. So I'm glad that you're here to teach us, to teach me, to teach my audience here how to close that gap. And tell us, where are you joining us from today?
Canada, actually, Ontario, Canada.
Amazing. It so happened we've got a lot of listeners in Canada, and I love that place as well. Let's dive in. Rachel, I'm going to let you introduce yourself here, because who better can explain your journey than yourself? Because I think you have got an interesting journey. Tell my audience today how you got to where you are. Maybe start by who.
So, hi, everybody. My name is Rachel Benton, and I am a Heal Your Life coach and teacher. And how I actually got here was a very long process. And the reason it took so long is because I had so much fear and so much doubt inside myself. I didn't think I could. I didn't think I could become a business owner. I didn't think I could become that person. And so I've been dreaming of this. I dreamt of it for 10, 15 years. And for 10, 15 years, I sat on the sidelines of my comfort zone, and I looked out and I looked at everybody else growing and evolving, and I just sat there in fear. And I sat there until I couldn't sit there anymore. And at some point, I woke up and I was like, this is it. I cannot sit here anymore. The pain of sitting here was too unbearable. And so I decided to jump, and I took the leap. I jumped with both feet, and I went into entrepreneurship, and I started a business, and I became a life coach a couple of years back when I started realizing that I had this passion inside of me to help people to take that leap, to help people to really step outside their comfort zone, to become who they want to become, to find that voice, start breaking through sabotaging behaviors, but to really step up into their business and become the person they are meant to become. And this is what I do today. And I'm so passionate about it because for so long, I was a perfectionist. I was a people pleaser. All of these behaviors I had, and I had to work through these. I had to work through them, do the work to be able to come out on the other side, to become a successful, thriving entrepreneur that I am today.
Awesome. I'm curious, Rachel, what was the final punch for you that you said, you know what, enough is enough. I'm definitely going after my dreams.
It was when I felt like I hit rock bottom, when you feel like everything in your life is so hard and everything around you is so negative. Right. I wasn't happy going to work. I didn't like the life I was leading. Everything was just out of sync. and I couldn't stay in that space anymore, and I didn't even know what that meant. I knew something had to change, I just didn't know how. And lucky for me, I had a beautiful soul who took me by the hand and said, "Hey, Rach, let me take you to a personal development session." And if anybody remembers their first personal development session, it was eye opening, right? It was positive, it was fun. I got to dream again. And so when I stepped into that space, there was no going back. I just wanted to go forward in that positivity and leave all the fear behind and leave all the negativity behind. Even though it follows us throughout our entire life, I don't have to put my um, energy in there. I can take my energy and put it in the positive
That's
aspect.
amazing. Knowing what you know now, because I know it took you nearly 10 years to actually take the plunge to make it happen. Knowing what you know now, would you have taken the plunge a little bit earlier than you did?
I would have definitely taken the plunge earlier, but I'm a firm believer that I wasn't ready.
Right.
I wasn't ready then, which is why I never took the step. I needed to grow more. I needed to do more for myself. So, yes, I would have loved to have taken the plunge back then, but I know that I wasn't quite ready to do what I'm doing today.
Talk to Bill for a moment, who's listening here, who is in that place, knows that something has to change, and knows that something's not right, then living his dreams. What's your advice?
My advice is to get very, very clear. It's to get honest with yourself.
Right.
What isn't working in your life? What isn't working in your business? What isn't working in your world? Stop avoiding. Because when we're lost, when we're struggling, when we don't know what's going on, a lot of the times it's because we're trying to avoid what's right in front of us. And so be honest with yourself. Look at it, acknowledge it, write it down if you have to, but really get clear on what is not working for you.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely love that. And then, of course, begin to take the corrective action towards your goal. Rachel, you have worked with some amazing clients and have gotten some amazing results for your clients. Do share with you and the listeners here today, maybe one story of amazing work you've done.
Definitely. So I have this amazing client who has been a business coach for over 10 years.
Right.
And she came to me because she felt like she was struggling. She was struggling with procrastination. She was struggling with doubts and fears because she was trying to move her business from business coaching into more of a personal growth. She wanted to bring that aspect into her business coaching, but she didn't quite know how to do it. And she was doubting herself. She didn't think she had the capabilities to do it. And so working together, she was able to break through that doubt, break through that fear so that she can start incorporating what she did in her business, and her business blew up. Her business grew, and she started attracting her ideal clients, the clients that wanted the business and the personal growth together. She started growing and evolving in that world that she never thought she could. And so that was such a profound experience to be able to see and experience with her. It was beautiful.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. There you have it. If you want to work with somebody who has good experience helping other people do well, Rachel's here is going to show you exactly how you to do that. Rachel, let's dive in because you have a 5-step process of closing the gap of where you are and where you want to go. We're going to explore that for effect. And again, if you are taking notes, this is the time you're supposed to take notes because you're about to discover something that you do. As we always say, if one of those things resonate with you, take action now. Write it down and put a date in there when you are going to action it. Remember what Tony Robbins said? We love Tony Robbins here, Rach. He said, never leave a place of discovery without creating an action plan as to how you're going to implement that. And today, as we go through these 5 steps, Bill, you want to create an action plan. Is when you're going to be implementing that and hold yourself accountable. Imagine Rachel standing there or sitting to you asking you, Bill, how are you getting on with your results today or with your action plan? And imagine me saying, hey, come on, brother, come on, sis, let's make this happen together. And if that works, keep doing that. If it doesn't work, think of the reason why you are not doing what you're doing. Because how you do anything is how you do everything, you might discover that the same reason that stops you from implementing what you're going to learn from Rachel today could be stopping you from achieving in other areas of your life. And we want to help you uncover that, face it head on, and make the corrective action to make sure that it happens. All right, I'm talking too much here, Rachel. Let's talk about you now. So what is the process that you take all your clients that are looking to get to their goal? Let's start with step number one.
So step number one is to really start auditing. Audit where you are today. What are the things that are working in your business? What are the things that are not working in your business? And again, get very clear, get very honest with yourself, because the more honest you are, the clearer you are. You can actually pinpoint all of the little cracks that you have in your foundation that needs working. That's step number one. Audit. So how are your processes in your business? The structures. How is your self-talk? Your growth work towards yourself and your business, because I'm a firm believer that your business will only grow as much as you do. So you've got to take the time to grow yourself. And as business owners, we tend to not have the time. We don't take the time to work on ourselves, to really get to know who we are. And this is your step number one. Take the time to get to know who you are. What are the habits? What are your behaviors? What's your mindset like? What are your fears? What are your doubts? What's holding you back in your business? And to give you an example, if you're in a business that is an online business and you need to get yourself on video, what is holding you back from getting yourself on video? And just to give you guys a little tip, everybody gets afraid to get on video. You're not alone. But what is holding you back from taking that step? Why are you not getting on video? Right. What's the fear? What's holding you back? What's your behavior like? Why are you procrastinating? Right? You really want to get very, very clear on every aspect of yourself. Get to know yourself. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I just want to chime in there, Rach. When I did this work, fortunately, I had a coach, and he really drove it home. He said, "Don't sugarcoat it. Say things as they are, and don't make it or don't soften it. Like, oh yeah, this is not working." You really want to say, "Yep, this is not working. It's affecting my marriage. This is not working. It's affecting my kids. It's affecting my time with family." Really go there so that you can see the intensity of the problem. Because when you discover where you are and how terrible things are, is a natural desire to get out of that situation and begin to look for a right solution that is going to help you. So I want to encourage you, like Rachel's talked about here, be very clear with where you are. And, talking to a coach or talking to me or talk to Rach, and we are going to help you. If you talk to me, I'm going to push you.
I do the same thing. We're good.
That's awesome. Rachel, over to you.
Okay, so that was step number one. Get clear. Get really clear what's working, what's not, and don't be afraid of the avoidance. Really get clear. Step number two, where do you want to go? What does that look like? Right? So start asking yourself your questions. Where do I want my business to be? How much money do I want to make? What kind of relationships do I want? What kind of ideal clients do I want? How many hours do I want to work? Where do I want to see my business grow in a year from now? Let's just say in a year from now, what does that look like? And I want details. I want to be able to close my eyes and you tell me what that looks like, and I want to be able to imagine it. Imagine the details. If you're telling me I want more money, what does more look like? How much more money do you want? If you want more clients, how many more clients? And the big question here is, do you have the capacity for that? Right? It's one thing to dream about all of these things. The other question is, do you have the capacity and the structure to uphold the level that you want to get at? And if you don't, this is where we need to start reducing that gap, right? Reduce the gap between where you are and where you want to go. And so where we are, get clear. Where do we want to go? Get clear. And then we start reducing the gap, and we reduce the gap by looking at our habits. Am I a procrastinator? What can I do differently? Do I try to control the outcome? What can I do differently? Do I judge? Do I criticize? Do I and not put in the work? Am I suffocating my business? And that's a big one. A lot of the times we don't give ourselves enough space for our business to grow. It's like anything else. In order to grow, you need space. And if you're suffocating your business, meaning you are busy, and I'm doing air quotes here, where you work, you do, but you don't actually take the time to step back and to let your creative side come out, because it's in your creative side that you're going to start getting the ideas. You're going to start thinking outside the box, and you're going to start growing that business because you've given yourself the space for the creativity to come. Instead of suffocating it with doing, where you're not finding fun, where you're not happy, where you're neglecting your family, maybe, and your friends. And well, what's the point of being in business if you can't have fun? Right? And so one thing that I want you guys to do right now is to put in your schedule fun. Take some time to have fun in your schedule. And one thing that I do with all of my clients is I get them to do a joy list. What is it that brings you so much joy, that makes you laugh, that makes you feel so good? And it could be as easy as running around your backyard with your kids, to having some fresh, clean sheets on your bed. Right? What brings you so much joy? And so I get them to make a list, and every single day they pick one thing out of that list to do, to honor who they are, to make themselves a priority, but to also remind them that they are important and self-care is important. And when you do that, you're you're growing, you're giving yourself the space to grow, which means your business is growing at the same time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I want to chime in there for sure, Rach, before we go to the other points there. I was listening to Dean Graziosi. You may be familiar with him. I bought his training program that he did with Tony Robbins a few years ago, and was talking about the same concept. It has helped me tremendously. You want to ask this question. What? Say for example, a year from now, what has to happen for you to feel you're successful? That's how you're going to create those goals and become very clear. Be clear, like you rightly say there, that imagine the little details as they want to be. For example, I'm imagining a year from now as a podcaster myself that I will be. Right now, we are ranking among the top 3%. For me, a year from now, will be among the 1% of most popular podcasts. What does that look like? What has to happen for me to experience that, and then work backwards, and it becomes very clear in terms of the capabilities I need to develop, the relationships I need to develop, the joint ventures that I need to foster in there, and who is going to be part of that whole process. That becomes very clear. So, like Meiji is talking about here, imagine a year from now, what would have happened for you to feel that you were successful? What milestone do you reach, or would you have reached, for you to say, oh, that was a success? And be as detailed as you possibly can. Now, I know, Bill, I know that sometimes, it's so easy, to take time out of your busy schedule, but this is one of those things that you just have to say, you know what, I'm going to do this exercise. Because when you do that exercise, you get absolutely clear, and you'll be able to say no to certain tasks or certain requests from people around you, because they are not part of it. Because if you don't do that, you end up responding to the agent and not the important ones, and you want to stay away from that. Rach, I'm taking your time now. Let's talk about the second aspect here, because I love this stuff. I can talk forever.
I love that you said that, and I just want to chime in on a point that you said, how you imagine yourself in a year from now where you are with a podcast, and what are the steps going backwards. And that is exactly what we want to do. We want to start looking at the steps going backwards and look at what are the behaviors that I need to learn, what are the habits that I need to learn, what is the mindset that I need in order to hit those goals. And this is exactly what we're talking about, reducing the gap, is to start looking at who do you need to become. Who is that person in a year from now that is achieving the goals that you're looking for? Who is that person? And you want to get very clear, to the point that you want to look at, what do they physically look like? How do they stand? How do they move their body? What do they eat? Right? You want to look at the entire aspect of their life, and you want to be able to start stepping into those shoes. And how do you step into those shoes? As you actually start taking some of the things that you want to do. And it could be as simple as you get your hair cut the same way as you see this successful person in a year from now. You start wearing your hair, you get up an hour earlier because you want to go have a workout because this is who your future self would be. And so you start becoming that person. And so, what are those things? What are those habits that you have to develop? The behaviors, the mindset. What does this person do? And you really want to get consumed, head down, focused on your end goal, and step into the shoes of who that person is.
That. It is incredible. Listen, Bill, if you are taking note, this is incredibly powerful. I know we may be talking about this in a rushing way, but I had to do exactly the same thing. For me to rank podcast-wise, I will talk about that podcast. I could talk about other areas of my life, but talk about this. For me to be experiencing, being number 4 on the UK's top 50 business podcasts, I imagined that. I created that plan, and it's no accident. It was very, very intentional. I worked backwards, and I knew what I need to happen, and went after it. What I would say to you is do it on one aspect of your life and prove it to yourself that this is the process. It will become apparent to you that that's how you're going to achieve all goals in other areas of your life. So, pick one thing, pick one area, be it in your HR, perhaps it's in your marketing, or it's in your finance, or it is in just relating to your business, partners, or even try it at home. Create an environment with your wife, your husband, or whoever you live with, and say, what is it that we want this family to be like a year from now? How can we do this together? You will be amazed at how everybody is going to jump on board and you all begin to work together. And it's going to be great. Rachel, let's talk about the third step that you highly recommend business owners to take to reduce the gap of where they are and where they want to be.
I want you guys to write this down right now. Do I truly believe in myself and that I have what it takes to be successful? Do I truly believe in myself and have what it takes to be successful? This is one of the questions that entrepreneurs have such a hard time answering. And this is the reason that most people fail in their business, is because they don't have true belief in their capabilities. They don't have true belief in their business, their product or service. And so if you can write that question down and take some time to answer it. So you want to get clear on what you have to offer. What are the results that you're getting, right? How are you making an impact on people? How are people aligned? Why would people align with you? Why would people hire you, right? You want to get really, really clear on what that is. What is that belief that you have about yourself? And then the $1 million question here is, would you invest in yourself? Would you actually hire you to get the results that you're looking for? And if there are any doubts, you got to work on that. You got to work on your belief system, because our beliefs are derived from our thoughts, right? And so if you can start changing the thoughts, you get to rewrite, you get to reframe their thoughts. You get to have any beliefs that you want. If you take the time to take the doubts and to reframe them into more positive, empowering thoughts that will really help you move forward. So that's step number 3, to really get clear on your beliefs about yourself and your business. Would you hire yourself? Would you invest in yourself?
Yeah, I love that. I just want to help you there, Bill, for a moment, how you can start generating your own belief and your ability. First of all, I want you to borrow our belief in you that you can do this. Sometimes we don't have it in us. So we look up to those who are around us to see if they believe in us. Maybe you're in an environment where no one believes in you. That's okay. You can start believing in you based on what we are sharing with you. Here's what I know about you. You are listening to this. You're like me. You know deep inside you that there is more to life than perhaps what you're experiencing, and that is also available for you. Think of it this way. Do you remember, or maybe maybe you actually have got a kid, when children are born, they are born with legs, and as adults, we know that they can walk because they have everything it takes to walk. But they themselves perhaps do not know that, if you remember, maybe it's happening right now. There comes a time where we as adults, We extend our belief in their ability to walk by encouraging them to walk. We raise our hands and say, "Come, come, come to daddy. Come, come to mommy." And then that toddler begins to move in the right direction, and we take their hand and begin to move with them. What we're doing there, literally, first of all, we're transferring our belief to them that they too can walk. How do we know that they can walk? It's because we are walking. When you use the same analogy, we believe in you, we know you can do this, you can live your dreams, you can do whatever you put your mind to, and you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. Just borrow the belief that we have. If that thought saying that you can't do it start coming back to you, you want to say, you know what? I was listening to Yeukai on the podcast. He said he believes in maybe, just maybe. I was listening to Rachel, just maybe. Yeah, right. Just maybe. And begin to play with that thought, begin to act on that thought. It won't be long before you realize that there's greatness in you that is just waiting to be untapped. Like somebody once said to me, fish discovered water last. Everybody else see that there is water there, but the fish is not aware of it. Maybe the same thing. Everybody around you sees your ability, your credibility, your everything that is going well for you, but you're just not seeing it. So I want you to start believing what Rach is saying, what I'm saying here, and begin to act upon it. Can you do that for me?
So good.
And I can do it. All right, Rach, let's talk about the fourth strategy there that you use, that you recommend to your listeners and your clients to reduce the gap.
And it goes back to what you were saying about Tony Robbins earlier, is to set some healthy practices, set some action steps. So let's start breaking down all of these dreams that you have. Let's break them down into small actionable steps that you can do every single day that'll help you move forward. And so in a year from now, let's work back. What do you need to accomplish? What can you start doing every single month, every single week, every single day? What are those healthy practices? And it could be as simple as meditation every single day to really get you connected and centered, to start visualizing. Take some time to visualize the outcome, the end result, and where you want to go. And it could be also that you want to stop procrastinating. So what can you do as a simple action step to stop procrastinating? And a lot of the times it's just observe your behavior, observe your habit, and start doing the complete opposite. Start having fun with this. Start getting curious and start playing. How can I do this differently? Okay, I don't feel like doing it right now. How can I do that differently?
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Right. We're coming toward the end of our time here together. You are delivering some amazing information. We are truly honored that you're doing that. For those who wants to continue learning from you, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Rachel Benton Life Coach. They can also, if they're interested and want to keep learning, I have this amazing webinar called How to Set and Achieve Your Goals, and they can find that at thepowerofyou.ca/webinar. And it's a free webinar, has a workbook that goes with it, and it really helps you get to the next level of yourself.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Final thoughts for those who want to cut that gap and go after their dreams. What would you say to them? They are listening.
Get clear. If I didn't make that clear enough yet, get clear, start dreaming, and then start working back and doing the things that you need to. Start becoming the person that you need to become
Start becoming the person you want to be. Oh, that is precious. That is incredible. I want to add something on here, something that has worked for me, and it may work for you as well, Bill. And it is imagining the way you want it to be. Use this powerful tool we've been given, the ability to imagine. Be a kid again. Imagine things as they are supposed to be. Go into the daydreaming world. I know this sounds woo there, but to try it out, just begin seeing yourself as you want to be. Begin to play with that idea. I remember I was in Africa a long time ago. Sounds like I'm too old now, but I had finished my A levels, and I wanted to be in either US or in the UK. And I remember my dad driving me because I got a job working with him for some company that he was working. Jaggers, for those who are listening and over there in Zimbabwe, they will know this company. And I remember this particular day he was driving, and I closed my eyes and I remember seeing myself driving a car in England. I don't know how I did that, but fast forward a few months later, after that, I was in England. That was one of those, it's so vivid to me that it's as if it happened yesterday, but it's nearly 20 years ago. So I imagined myself in a foreign country, living well, doing life well, and it happened. And then I remember another time leading up to that, I would go away on my own and I even bought several materials. It was because I was coming for university, like a pamphlet, investor pamphlet. I was looking at them continuously and imagining myself working on the investor loan, having this conversation with people. It was that detail. And fast forward, I think it was less than 18 months, I was here in the United Kingdom. And things begin to happen so fast. And if you had to ask my mom or my dad, they would tell you that there was no way they could have generated enough money to afford me to come to the UK or to the US where I wanted to be. But when I started imagining and started believing that this could happen for me, it put everything in motion that led me to have a space to live in the UK, created the vehicle. So I want to encourage you. I know, again, it may sound so woo, but I want you to try it out. Begin to imagine living the way you want to live. How does it feel? How does it make you appreciate life? How is it going to impact the people around you, the people that get to know you? What are you going to be teaching people that what's possible? Because they see something possible, you're doing the impossible. You too can do that. This is a God-given gift that we have, that all of us can tap into. I want to leave you with that, and I know you can do this, otherwise I wouldn't be talking about it. I know you have the ability, you are listening to this far, because you can do that. So write us back and tell us, how you go on with Rachel, the lesson that you've learned today, how you go on with this conversation, how are you applying it? And I know you are going to do very well. Rachel, thanks again for being here. We truly appreciate every single time, knowledge you've shared with us, and we want to wish you success in your next endeavor.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
It's been absolutely joy. And once again, we cannot wait to have you on another episode. If you've got any questions, I ask the community. And I want to point out our training program, how to start, scale, and monetize your podcast is out. So you just go to our website and you'll be able to, if you want to start a podcast like this one, maybe learn how we are getting ranked, how we are smashing targets. You want to enroll in that program, how to start, scale, and monetize your podcast. I'll be glad to welcome you into the family. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, as I always want to finish off is live well, live with passion, know that the best is yet to come. And goodbye for now.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.